Good afternoon. Today's webinar is about how to build a successful loyalty program, which is the next installment in the series of webinars known as the Zonal Innovation Series. Before we get started, many of my previous listeners on previous webinars have asked about where they can pick up useful tips and free guides around these kind of webinars and the content. So I wanted to share with you the web address for the resource centre, which is zonal.co.uk/resources. Looking at the list of attendees, I see that some of you are frequent visitors to our webinar, and for others, it may be the first time that you've joined. So I'd like to start by saying welcome to the webinar, and I hope you find today's content useful. My name is David Charlton, and I'm the Commercial Director for Zonal's Marketing Technologies Division. I've been with the business for nearly 5 years, and I'm responsible for all of the consumer engagement products that integrate into EPOS. These products range from online bookings, event management and table management technology, through to mobile ordering, loyalty, gifting and CRM products. I have two very special guests joining me today who will be giving you an operator's perspective on how to build a successful loyalty program. And it's fair to say they are the true experts here today because they've managed to make it a success. I'd like to welcome our Peter Anstey, Marketing Director, and Susie Clark, Digital Marketing Manager from Bistrot Pierre. So on today's agenda, we're going to be looking at the trends and statistics of loyalty. We're going to be trying to decipher what it is that people need to try and achieve when building a loyalty program. We're going to be looking at the different types of loyalty programs and categories that you could actually build and which one is absolutely right for your business. We're going to question whether demographics are important, and if so, how does that influence what category or program that you build? And then we'll be focusing down on today's case study, which is with Bistrot Pierre, and looking at exactly what they build and how it's impacted their business. We will have a Q&A session at the end of today's webinar where we'll try and get through as many questions as we possibly can. What I'd like to ask you all to do is to feel free to ask as many questions throughout the webinar as you wish, and we'll answer as many as we can at the end. There's a Q&A box on your screens now, and there's also a document section where you can download various different loyalty guides and product sheets, which will help you gain more information when thinking about how to build a loyalty scheme. At the end of today's webinar, we'll be sending you a survey, and we'll be asking you for your feedback into what you thought. And if you'd like to hear more and you're interested in chatting to us, please get in touch on the details below. So let's start off with the stats. Every business wants to attract new customers, but not every business realizes the importance of customer retention. 82% of companies agree that retention is cheaper than acquisition. It takes 7 new customers to equal the same revenue as you get from 1 repeat customer. Interestingly enough, 63% of people say they wish that brands treated them more like a friend than maybe just another consumer. And 70% of consumers are likely to recommend a brand to a friend if it's got a really good loyalty program. We find that 66% of consumers are likely to switch brands if they feel like they've been treated just like a number rather than an individual. And interestingly enough, £20.25 is the average spend in a brand by a loyal customer versus £18.30 for those who are not part of the loyalty scheme. Talking a little bit about personalisation and the importance of integration and how this can really help with a successful loyalty program, 59% of customers say that having a piece of tailored engagement based on their past interactions is really important to them when they decide on whether to book or whether to join a loyalty scheme. 48% of consumers say that they actually buy more when marketeers leverage their interests and buying behaviours to personalise their experience. We've all been there where we've received a blanket piece of communication or marketing offer that's not been relevant to us. Maybe it's not something that we've particularly liked or purchased in the past. And we've all been there where we've received a very tailored piece of communication and the positive impact that has on whether we decide to go forward and spend. Personalization can deliver between 5 and 8 times the return on investment. And with Zonal's loyalty solution being integrated to the till, it means that your systems can share your customer data between platforms, which will help you build and personalize incentives within the loyalty program. The integration also allows you to easily measure the effectiveness of your campaigns and to track the redemptions. There are 4 different successful loyalty programs that our platform has achieved for many different types of customers. The first one is around how to boost customer spend every time that they come and visit. The second one is how do we boost customer frequency to get them to come more. The third one is how we encourage word of mouth. And the fourth one is how we lower customer acquisition costs. I think it's fair to say that acquiring new customers can cost 6 to 7 times more than retaining an existing customer. And we can share with you later on the sources of all of these statistics and where they've come from. In my role at Zonal, I'm fortunate enough to talk to lots of different customers, some really big restaurant chains and some independents. And I also speak to lots of non-Zonal customers. And when I talk to them about customer loyalty and what's involved, what strikes me in many of those conversations that I've had is the starting position is always that people are not sure what type of loyalty scheme that they want to run. They're often unsure about the mechanics of how to build it. They're often unsure around what to offer as a proposition to the customer that makes it interesting enough to join, but also that doesn't erode margin. And I think it's fair to say the first point to think about is what do you actually want to achieve by running a loyalty program? It definitely shouldn't be a case of because my competitor are doing it. It should be firmly based on a set of parameters that you want to achieve. And once you understand those parameters as a business, we can then go forward to understand the different types of possible schemes that you can run and how they fit together with the demographics of your customers. For most of the businesses that I've spoken to, the 3 main reasons why they want to run a loyalty scheme are to increase the frequency of their customer visits. They also want to increase the per customer spend during each of those visits. So take it from an average spend of X to an average spend of Y. And to make their customers feel valued and excited about what they have to offer. The good news is that Zonal's loyalty program can do all of those 3 things. But it's really unlikely that any single loyalty program can do all of those 3 things at the same time. And that's because different customers respond to different things in different ways. So what are the different types of loyalty programs that you could run? Well, most loyalty programs fall into 6 key categories. Well, the first kind of program is a currency-based program, also known as cashback. Businesses ranging from banks through to bistros run a currency-based program because they're really easy to understand and they're really easy to administer. Whenever a customer spends money, they get a percentage back. So for example, every pound that they spend, they might get 5 pence or 10 pence back as part of that loyalty scheme. Currency programs are a really good core benefit, but many businesses choose to enhance them. Otherwise, they're really quite difficult to get enthusiastic about, and it can take quite a long time to earn up any rewards. Those enhancements might include things like a different rate of return based on the product that you're buying. So if you've got, for example, a promotion on a certain type of food or wine or beer, you can give higher rates of cashback. You could limit time offers So knowing on a Tuesday, you might want to do a higher rate of return because you're typically quiet. Bonus amounts of currency on registration. So when you sign up, you could give a bonus reward for signing up. And that, in essence, gives the consumer something instantly for them to redeem. And you could also think about tiered rates, where maybe VIPs get a higher rate of return than others on a different tier. The second type of scheme is around collecting points and turning those points into money. We all know this one. It's our classic Nectar cards and our club cards that we use every single week. And there's lots of other loyalty cards out there that give us points with our purchases. Although the most common model is a flat rate model, such as 1 point for every pound spent, many restaurant operators choose to customize it. For example, you can give limited time offers when you get more points per purchase. So thinking about if you want to attract diners earlier, so around between 5 p.m. and 7 p.m, where you know that traditionally you're quiet, you could offer double points. You could differ the rates for different products, so double points on certain items that you want to sell more of. You can do tiered membership, so VIPs could earn more points per pound spent. And extra points as and when you choose to run sign-up programs. So if you want to boost the number of people signing up, you might offer a one-time extra points at registration. You can offer bonus points for buying specific items, and you can differ the rates for different parts of the business. So you might offer higher rates of points for food-led items than wet-led items. The third type of program is around collecting points and turning these points into actual rewards. This scheme works very much like the points to money model, but instead of cash, the points are traded in for specific rewards. Think flight upgrades and free products and other types of goodies and those kind of schemes. As with cash-based point systems, the basic model can be adjusted with special offers, tiered membership, and time-limited offers. The fourth type of program is what we call buy this and get that. It's a model which is one of the simplest, which is why you'll find it in many different businesses of all shapes and sizes. It's very well known in coffee shops, for example, where you buy 5 coffees and get your 6th coffee free. It's also well known in buying makeup products. So maybe you buy 3 makeup products and get a beauty bag for free. And it's also well recognized in our high streets when we come to get food. So meal deals, where you buy the meal deal and you get a free drink. There isn't much scope for customization here beyond setting minimum spend limits. So for example, you might need to buy products that are worth a certain amount in order to qualify for a freebie, or offer tier benefits such as giving VIP members a better reward or requiring fewer purchases. Category 5 and 6 are the 2 categories that can work with any of the preceding categories that we've already gone through. So category 5 is around getting rewards for visits or reservations. And this method works much like the buy this and get that model, but it's based on frequency of visits rather than specific purchases or spending amounts. For example, you might offer a free starter to a customer who's visiting for the 3rd time, or maybe a free bottle of wine for a certain number of completed reservations. We see this category work in conjunction with the other categories because it encourages people to make reservations online, and therefore it frees up time from answering the phone and booking those reservations in. It works particularly well when your loyalty system and your EPOS system are connected with each other. So when the bill is paid, the customer account can be updated automatically. The final category is around additional rewards, and we see a lot of our customers that run loyalty utilize this particular category in conjunction with the others. And it's about enhancing the offering. So it's around offering additional rewards when a customer has done something. So maybe you might offer additional rewards around a promotion, such as buy one, get one free, or multi-buy deals, fixed price or free items when you bought something, And you can also offer rewards when it's the customer's birthday, or a reward for registration, or a reward on their anniversary, or a further reward when they move from a different tier. So this is quite a common thing for schemes to offer additional rewards. From everything I've told you so far about the different categories, it's fair to say that demographics really do matter. If you're looking to boost average revenues per customer or to appeal to an older demographic, then there are two kinds of programs to consider first. The first one is around collecting points and turning them into money. And the second one is around a currency program. They're fairly simple to set up and run, and your customers know exactly what they're getting each time that they transact. Getting a discount or an additional item with a purchase can make customers feel more valued. The downside of such programs is they're not really the most exciting of programs. It's difficult to create long-term excitement, and there isn't much wiggle room if you want to make some changes. It's hard to say new things about the same discounts you've been offering for a while. For younger audiences, these ones are the most effective type of schemes. Firstly, buy this and get that. Secondly, offering additional rewards such as VIP packages or queue jumping. And thirdly, providing additional rewards for frequency of visits or for making reservations online. These programs can drive behavioural changes, such as encouraging people to move from house wine to premium wines. This works by offering a wine upgrade after, say, 3 house wines have been purchased, with the aim to show the customer that the premium wine is worth spending a little extra for. The programs are also easy to update with short-term offers and special promotions. Another key benefit of these kinds of models is that they work well in businesses that don't want to offer discounts because it doesn't fit in with their brand. And so now we move on to our customer spotlight, and I'm really pleased to welcome 2 fantastic people from Bistrot Pierre who I've had the privilege of working with for quite some time. Welcome our Peter and Susie, and thank you so much for agreeing to share your expertise with our audience today.
Thank you.
No, thank you. And so rather than me explain to our audience a bit about Bistrot Pierre, I think you'd be much more qualified to tell our listeners a bit more about your journey so far.
Great. So it's all Peter here. Just to share, Bistrot Pierre was founded in 1994 by 2 school friends, Robert Beecham and John Whitehead. They operated 2 successful Pierre Victoire franchises in Nottingham and Derby, and now we have 24 Bistrot Pierre across the country. We're really proud to serve French bistro dishes as well as a wide range of other dishes to appeal to varying customer groups across the UK. And last summer we celebrated our 25th birthday where we opened our latest bistro in Eastbourne.
That sounds really exciting, especially in Eastbourne, which is a fantastic place to open a bistro.
Yes.
So moving into the detail around the scheme, I guess a lot of our listeners will want to know a bit more about what the purpose was for implementing a loyalty program. Can I start by asking you to explain a little bit more about what you actually wanted to achieve?
Yes, so in Bistrot Pierre, we had been running a loyalty scheme in the form of a stamper card, so a basic stamper card, paper-based scheme for over 5 years, which was really loved by our customers. They could collect stamps by day part, so they would have to collect 9 stamps to get the 10th lunch free, or 9 stamps to get the early evening menu free, and the same with the evening. And it was incredibly popular, and when I first joined the business, you just see lots of people, especially at lunchtime, coming in with the stamper card in hand. And it was great, and in terms of a basic level of driving loyalty, it certainly did that. But we realised that we knew absolutely nothing about about the members of the club, and that they just came to stamp the card. We did move forward and started to capture their address details, but still we were just adding email addresses, but we were just adding them to the database. But we didn't know anything really about frequency of visit, about what they were buying with us, what they were spending. So we realised that we had a really valuable pot of people here that clearly were engaged with the brand, but we knew nothing about them.
That's interesting. And I guess the main aim of your scheme was to drive recency, frequency, and value. So I guess, Susie, can you tell me or tell us a little bit more about how the loyalty program actually works?
Yeah, definitely. So it's very similar to sort of what you referred to as Program 3, so the collect points and redeem and rewards program. So our guests can collect points every time they visit, and then they can redeem rewards, so anything from sort of a drink to 2-course meals. So that's kind of the foundation of the scheme. It was built off the sample card, as our Peter said, but what we've kind of evolved the scheme to do is offer exclusive offers, and also give our members sort of exclusive invitations to monthly events, just to make them feel really part of the club.
That's a very big value add, and I guess it makes people who are part of that scheme feel quite engaged with your brand. I guess that was a major consideration.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you... Sorry, go on.
No, I think it's just the exclusive offers is really creating that reason to visit. We know that people love collecting their points and redeeming their rewards, but we're now using this scheme to drive people through our restaurant doors.
And so how do you currently communicate with your customer base? Do you use a different mechanism to do that, or how do you find what works for you?
So sort of with our scheme, we've got an app as well as a plastic card. So just for our customer base, we decided to have both. So with the app, we've obviously got the beauty of push notifications, but we actually find that emails are our most effective form of communication. So we use the Zonal product of Campaigns Plus, which is kind of a CRM platform. And also behind the scene, we've got automated and triggered emails. So as soon as a guest signs up, they get welcome emails. If they've not visited after a certain period of time, we'll send them another email with an offer to their account. And this is all sort of done through the Campaigns Plus platform. So our club members are a really engaged group of people. Our database is made up of obviously club members, but also non-club members too, and kind of the open rates and engagement levels of our club members is far, far higher. We see open rates of 40% plus, which is
wow.
Which is miles.
That's pretty big, isn't it? And I guess a lot of people listening will be wondering how big your marketing department is to be able to manage such a platform. Can you give us a bit of insight into how many people are in the department and how you manage this loyalty platform?
Yeah, so there is 5 of us in the marketing team, and that includes myself, I'm marketing director, and then Susie is digital marketing manager. She oversees the loyalty program as well as all things digital, with an exec reporting into her. Then we have a brand manager who deals with all the menus and production and print side of the business, with a exec going into her who helps with local marketing and production of materials. So 5 of us. So
you don't have to be a big marketing department to run a successful loyalty program with such a big client base, do you?
No, not with the right partners and the right platform. And, but just building on what Susie said, genuinely, our bistros say they know when an email has gone out to Club Bistrot Pierre member base, because the minute it does, and we talk about a special event or a campaign and encourage to book, the phone starts ringing. So,
okay. And so one question that pops up time and time again is around what the key considerations are for an app-based loyalty program versus a card-based loyalty program. How did you decide what the best approach was for your business?
So it was a tricky one for us in ways because of our legacy of the stamper card. We knew that a lot of our customers really wanted to have a physical card in their hand. We knew that because of how they engaged with the stamper card scheme. And also the customer demographic of our customer base, especially at lunchtime, is older. and we had a bit of we preempted that there would be definitely more of a need to have the plastic card versus having an app on smartphone. And so we decided the way forward for us would have to be both.
Hybrid approach.
Yeah, we have encouraged people to download the app, and there's no doubt that the customer experience is a lot better and easier with the app because you can see everything you have there in one space. But, 50% usage of card versus app pretty much shows that we preempted usage as it was going to turn out to be.
And out of interest, can you share with us what kind of additional information you get out of having an app over a card-based solution? Do you get much more data about your customer?
Not really, no. We kind of collect all the same information at the point of registration. But I think it also gives us another touch point by, like I say, being able to send push notifications. I think it's just a much clearer way and a better user experience really for them to use their app. They can go and see how many points they've got, how many rewards they've got, and the offers available to them. So I think it's just, like what Peter said, having everything there all in one place is just so much easier for the customer.
And in terms of exclusive access to offers, you mentioned earlier on that your loyalty base can receive exclusive offers. What kind of things do you come up with on a monthly basis in order to entice them to join the scheme or to benefit from being on the scheme?
So we've done quite a lot of test and learn really over the past definitely 12 months to really see what resonates and engages our members. We recently kind of relaunched the scheme after doing a lot of test and learn and made our exclusive Dine Out for £10 menu available to our members all the time. So that menu means that our members can come in and get 2 courses for £10
from a specified menu.
Yeah, from a special menu, sort of whenever they want.
Quite compelling.
Yeah. So it's kind of
very compelling.
Great value. It's a great value menu, but it's creating that reason to visit, and it kind of makes us that place where if you just wanted to go out for a midweek evening meal, then it's not going to break the bank.
And then, so Dine Out has been really popular. The other piece of promotional activity that we offered when we had stamper cards was a winter warmer or summer rosé, which is a wine offer. And actually, with our club members, we found that is one of the most popular offers that we give to them. So you can only have it if you're a member of Club Bistrot Pierre. So if you don't even have a carafe of wine at time or a bottle, 2 of you can have a carafe or a bottle in the evening, and that's only for Club Bistrot Pierre members. And then, as Susie just mentioned, the events whereby we're doing member events, whether that's preview to a menu, whether that's tasting night when we've launched a menu. They're the kind of pieces of activity that you only get access to if you're a member of the club.
Yeah, and it's our way of really almost thank those people for being our club members, and just we want to make them feel valued with the scheme. And another way we do that as well is with a bottle of fizz on their birthday. It's quite common for, I think, a lot of restaurant groups to do a birthday offer, but we're evolving that at the moment to acknowledge kind of special birthdays, the milestone birthdays and things like that. So it's just doing something a bit above and beyond to make that guest feel special, and that's what our scheme's all about.
And I guess integrating your loyalty scheme with your booking platform, which is also a Zonal product, you find that guests who are booked online who come into the venue, who are part of your loyalty scheme, are recognised instantly because of the integration between the 2 databases. Do you find that a big operational benefit?
Yeah, no, massively, and it's something that we really make our staff focus on. So it's so clear that as soon as a guest arrives at the bistro and they're kind of being checked in on the table, that the staff member can see that they're a loyalty member
and acknowledges it.
And acknowledges it, and kind of makes them feel warm and welcome like every other customer.
Super. So, looking at your results so far, I think a lot of our listeners will want to know a bit more about the output of this fantastic loyalty program. What results can you share so far? What have you seen?
So we've got 120,000 members at the moment, as you can see on the slide, and the scheme itself contributes a really big proportion of our annual revenue. So it's currently at 30%, and it's growing sort of month on month. That's one of our kind of key KPIs, which we're just striving to make bigger and bigger every month. In terms of sort of recency, frequency, value, those kind of key metrics that we're always looking at. On average, the check spend of a member, so somebody in our Club Bistrot Pierre scheme, is 50% higher than a club member. Yeah, it's significant. It shows how important these customers are to us, and that's why we really want to make them valuable.
It definitely goes with the research that's out there that says it's far more valuable to retain a customer than to attract new customers.
Absolutely.
Oh, massively, yeah. We're seeing that our club members sort of visit 3 times more often than our non-club members.
Wow. Okay.
So it just shows that what we're doing to try and drive those visits is really, really working for us. It's driven £2.5 million worth of incremental revenue for the business last year. So
that's phenomenal.
We just want to keep driving and pushing the scheme and moving it forward.
And interestingly, you say you have 120,000 members to date. How long has it taken you to acquire that level of membership?
So we sort of see peaks and troughs. We do a lot of recruitment drivers throughout the year. So things like the winter warmer offer that our Peter mentioned earlier. We sort of incentivize sign-up throughout the year with different offers. We always have an always-on recruitment offer. So if you sign up, you'll get £5 off. But we just do lots of different campaigns to try and drive that recruitment.
But 2 years, really, 2 years to get to that.
Okay.
And yes, as Susie said, peaks and troughs in recruitment, but 2 years to get us to that point.
The big thing is getting the staff behind it and driving that engagement.
Yeah.
And that was a question I was just about to ask around staff engagement. How easy is it to get staff excited and bought into these types of schemes? Are they one of your biggest acquisition drivers?
Yes, I think they are. I think we recently relaunched the scheme. It was called Pierre Rewards, and we did some customer research and we changed it to Club Bistrot Pierre. So we could, as Susie mentioned earlier, based on a lot of test and learn activity over the last 12 months, we saw what was really important to these customers. When we send out questionnaires or surveys to them, they are so responsive. So we got a good indication of what was important. So on the back of strong point of sale, explaining the benefits of the scheme, as well as the staff front of house team members talking up the scheme, they are the two kind of winning combinations. What we have seen is where that comes to life is we know the bistros within our estate that really push Club Bistrot Pierre versus those that don't so much, and that comes through both in terms of number of members for those bistro sites as well as engagement in the scheme. So there is a big push within our business and within the ops team being launched tomorrow actually to just that every site has to get on board with pushing Club Bistrot Pierre because it is such strategic importance to us as a business.
Of course. And I guess as the person responsible for the marketing budget, Peter, can you share with us how much does it actually cost to run as a percentage of your overall budget?
25% now. So it's grown each year, but it's currently 25% of the annual marketing budget is spent on us and the comms that support it.
So it's a significant amount, and obviously very much invested into that platform and producing fantastic dividends by the sounds of it. So in terms of the actual platform itself, I guess not wishing for a massive zonal plug here, but can you tell us a little bit more about why you chose Zonal's loyalty solution over other solutions that are available on the market?
Yeah, sure. So I worked on this for about 4 years ago, where we did look at lots of different loyalty solutions. And fundamentally, the number one reason why we came to Zonal was we wanted access to the EPOS, to the till data, because on the back of that we were able to see exactly what people were buying, when they were buying, and how much they were spending, and that is the fundamental basis of our scheme. And with the product that Zonal were offering and the single customer view, which I'll let Susie explain how that brings in a lot more products. That was, in terms of a loyalty scheme, that was the fundamental basis of it and continues to be.
I guess it's quite a difficult thing to manage if your loyalty scheme isn't integrated to your till, because I assume that you, as a marketing department, you would have to send out regular comms to your operational staff about what is on the scheme, whereas integrating to loyalty means that you can run lots of innovative campaigns without the need to retrain staff all the time. It's simply a swipe of the card or a scan of the digital card, and that applies all of the rewards.
Yeah, definitely. It's just that they know one place where they need to look to see what rewards or offers are available for the club member, and it's just really, really simple for the staff to use.
And Peter, you mentioned a minute ago about integrating into other products, and Susie, you're probably the best person to answer around. I mean, you have a number of Zonal products. You have obviously EPOS, but then you also have LiveRes, which is your table management solution. You've got loyalty, and you've also got your single customer view and your Campaigns Plus platform. What benefits would you say as a digital marketing manager? What did it bring you in terms of having these products all integrated into one?
I think it just helps to have a holistic view of the whole of the customer and on how they interact with us as a brand. We know what they're buying, whether they like to book online or call into the bistros. It's just kind of the whole customer journey is all brought together really, and by using a single customer view, we know everything about this customer. And then we can target them through Campaigns Plus and through the segmentation that Campaigns Plus allows to then send them sort of segmented emails, really personalised to what it is that they like or where that local bistro is, and things like that.
And you can react quite quickly, can't you, to drive engagement? And that must be quite a positive factor for anybody that works in marketing, being able to engage with customers quite quickly based on preference. It must be a real positive.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just the way that the sector is, we have to be responsive to sales and to customer needs. So I think the beauty of having everything all joined together is we can get out offers whenever we need to get out offers, or we can really push some of our core brand offerings when they need help as well.
Yeah, by day part really, and the tables link is really key. That piece which we're building on with us even more as we continue to grow the scheme is that the ability to look in tables for our staff members to look in tables and see that customer is a club member is vital, because from a customer experience point of view, they're made to feel special, which they should do.
When you say tables, you mean the LiveRes table management product, operational? Yeah. Super. Okay. And so we're now coming to the end of our webinar, and so if you've got some questions that you want to ask our Peter and Susie, now is definitely the chance to put those questions in. I can see a number of questions have already come in, so we'll move on to them in a moment. I guess my final two questions really are around how do you keep members engaged with your loyalty scheme? How frequently do you maybe refresh the rewards and change them around? And I guess that's a question for you, Susie.
Yeah, so I think kind of the automated triggers program is the foundation of keeping the members engaged. So we go after them if they've not visited for a certain amount of time. But in terms of sort of rewards and offers that we give them, we tend to go out to them with surveys and really find out what it is that they want. We also measure the impact of every offer, so every exclusive offer that we give them or the rewards that they redeem for their points. We really keep tabs on what it is that they're using and what they like and what they're redeeming, and give them more of that, because we know that's what they want.
So as a benchmark,
yeah,
how frequently would you change your rewards? Would that be once a year or once every 6 months?
Once a year.
Yeah, once a year. It's kind of just to give it a longer period of time to really track, because people need to build up their points to then be able to redeem them, and so they can go as high as sort of 2,000 points and things like that. So it's just they need to be coming in, having numerous visits to get those points to then redeem the rewards, and realigning what points get you what rewards.
I think just to add there, the way this scheme has evolved is that it was developed to be a collect your points and redeem on rewards. So customers could see how many points they were collecting, and then see the different levels of reward they could get, ranging from a drink right up to a 2-course dinner, as we've talked about earlier. The bit that we've added in is the use of offers, and by offers we're talking about these exclusive either preview events or offers that are time limited, often for a month, that you can only get if you have access, or it's not access, you're a member of Club Bistrot Pierre. And that's the bit, the offers that we refresh on an ongoing basis, based on what activity we've got going on in brand, what we know is compelling to them, and then the rewards, as Susie said, we review ongoing, refresh on an annual basis, based on what's redeeming and what isn't.
Okay, and I guess the natural next question, and my final question, is around what's next. What is next for your loyalty scheme? You've got this fantastic loyalty scheme in place. It's working tremendously well. What tweaks are next for you and your business to make it even better?
Simple, really, just grow it. That is the number one objective we have been set. Hence the reason why we allocate so much of our marketing budget to our loyalty scheme. We know from everything we've talked about how important these customers are to us. So the challenge is to grow it, to grow the number of people in the scheme, and then in turn grow the amount of revenue that the Club Bistrot Pierre's members contribute to our overall revenue. We said it earlier, a lot easier to retain and engage an existing customer than recruit new. So the bigger we can make it, the more compelling we can make it, the better. So that's it, really. Grow it.
Makes perfect sense. Well done. So I guess we've covered a lot of details today, and so for me, I think the only thing left to say is a massive thank you to both of you for joining me on air today, and for sharing your experiences and giving our audience some insight and some food for thought about how they might go about building their own loyalty scheme. So thank you so much on behalf of our listeners and on behalf of Zonal.
Thanks, David.
Brilliant. So I guess we've got loads of questions that have come in, and we'll probably fundamentally these slides will be shared. We will send them round to everybody, so you've got sight of them. I think some of the questions that are coming, let's see what we can get answered. So I guess one of the questions that have come in is around being able to do promotions on wet-led items. And what experience have you got around being able to manage that around the legalities?
So there was no issues when we pulled the scheme together, and we identified the different products we wanted to offer in terms of rewards. We do have a drink reward within the scheme, and we put everything through our lawyers, and there was no concern about offering any form of offer on drinks, so we treated it just the same as food.
Okay, and obviously there's different laws in Scotland. I know you haven't got any insights in Scotland yet, but I think we probably, my advice to those of you who do have sites across the United Kingdom is probably seek your legal advice internally to check that out as you go. Another question here is, can you give examples of who does what in each of these programs in pubs? So I think off the top of my head, I think there's a number of loyalty programs. I know M&B have got a couple of programs. I know across some of their brands. I know New World Trading have recently implemented a loyalty program. So there's quite a number of them, and some of them are card-based and some of them are app-based. But I can definitely share some of with them. Obviously, I can see who sent these questions in, so I will make sure that I follow up and try to get as many answers to you as I possibly can. We've got one question here around how do you make sure that people don't redeem their points or their cash on key dates like Valentine's Day? That's definitely one for you, Susie.
Yeah, no, definitely. So obviously, because we have the points and rewards, but we also have the exclusive offers as well. In all of our special offers, we put in the T's and C's that that the offers aren't valid on those special days. And then also, mainly around our special occasions, we actually offer special set menus. And so it's also kind of put in the T's and C's there that we bring in extra special dishes and things, so they're not available to be redeemed if they're on a set menu. It's only kind of those items on our core menu, so our prefix lunch, our early evening. If those menus aren't available on that day, then they can't redeem it.
So obviously, you can collect your points at any point, but obviously redeeming these is structured on certain days. So in terms of a couple of last questions, whilst we've got a bit of time, how long does this take to implement? Usually, the implementation process, from a project perspective, is something that we kind of handhold our customers through. That can take usually, if it's an app-based project, it could take anything between 8 and 12 weeks. If it's a card-based program, to get the mechanics up and running and implemented, it could be as quick as 2 to 3 weeks. I think a big part of it, and I'm sure Susie and Peter, you'll probably agree with this, is making sure that you know what you want to offer and what mechanism or platform what scheme you want to run, and what level of points or rewards you want to offer. I think that's the most challenging part of all of it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
One of the other questions. Yeah, absolutely, the pre-work. One of the other questions is, how does the system recognise a loyalty guest when they walk into the restaurant? Obviously, I know from a technical perspective from our products, but Peter, Susie, do you want to answer that from an operator's perspective?
Yeah, I think this is one of the major positives of using the Zonal system, in that because of the single customer view, if a customer is a member of the scheme and is booked online, the unique identifier for that customer is their email address. So it is flagged on the table system for all our team members and front of house members know straight away that is that somebody is a loyalty guest. And actually, in our new service cycle, we have made that a step of service whereby if somebody has got the heart by their name, which says they're a loyalty member and part of the Bistrot Pierre, they must be acknowledged. So a real plus.
That's one of the uniqueness of having two products that are part of the Zonal ecosystem that are very much entwined. One of the other questions is, do you incentivise your staff to get new members, and if so, how?
So we're able to track how many staff members get new loyalty registrations. So we then sort of incentivise them off the back of that. We did a big push on this back in October to really get our staff members engaged, and we sort of saw sign-ups increase by about 40%. So it's really, really positive, and it's kind of the scheme is nothing without the staff behind it.
Absolutely, and I guess we've got one other question that I think is quite poignant to the current situation that we're in is, have you used the platform to communicate to your loyalty guests about coronavirus and how that's impacting potentially their bookings, etc.?
Absolutely. They were the first people we communicated with, both in terms of providing reasons to visit, but also informing them of what was happening at Bistrot Pierre. So critical that we do talk to them, because they're some of our most loyal customers, and just giving them a sense of issue really. So yeah.
And I think we've probably got time for. I think we've probably got time for one more question, which is around how much time is spent administrating the scheme. How much time does it take you, Susie, to manage this on a weekly basis?
So I think it's one of those things. It obviously depends on how many members you've got and how engaged they are in the scheme. We're very lucky that our members are very engaged, but if for any reason they don't get their points, we are the first to hear about it. So I think on a sort of how much time per week, it's probably, I'd say about, probably just less than 10 hours. So it's definitely a Monday morning. You see an increase of inquiries just over the weekend, and then it's probably about an hour a day for the rest of the week.
Super. Well, we got a lot of questions here, and obviously the webinar is 50 minutes, so we're not going to get round to answering all the questions, but what I will do is I'll try and follow up with as many of you as I possibly can. I think that all that's left for me to say is thank you to our listeners for joining the webinar. I hope you found it really useful, and please do fill in that feedback questionnaire. And I'd like to, again, thank you, Susie and Peter, for giving up your time and sharing your information with the rest of the hospitality industry, and I'm sure that they're grateful too. So thank you very much. So on behalf of everybody on this call, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you well. Cheers.
Thank you.